That is just not to understand what classical education is at all, right? And so I think that what we should all be doing is educating people about what classical education is. And what I generally go to, and who am I? I'm a homeschool mom. That's who I am. Like, you're all smart. But I am telling you that the homeschool moms respond to this. What I say to people is, you know what? St. Thomas, in his commentary on Boethius' De Trinitate, question 5, the division and method of the sciences, people call that treatise, right? Explains what we are doing with classical education. You start with the trivium, okay? Grammar, rhetoric, logic, the quadrivium, arithmetic, geometry, music, and astronomy. Those aren't foreign terms. I mean, yeah, you start with those basic things that use the imagination and that are kind of discipline for the mind. And you do that in order to move to the sciences, right? Science, like what science means, those things that are universal and unchanging. That's stuff that you can actually know. Okay, so the liberal arts are ordered to the sciences. So you're talking about natural science, physics, right? And the de anima, study of the soul, the ethics, the politics. These people, in my experience, are actually, well, the homeschool moms anyway, are really interested in, because they're concerned about raising their children well. But those sciences are ordered to metaphysics, to, beyond physics, right? So St. Thomas says that was the summit of education for Aristotle. But as Christians, as Catholics, we know that is actually ordered to sacred theology. The best thing you can do with your mind is think about God, because he is the highest and noblest object, right? So the biblical worldview and classical, understood rightly, is the same. We are here to know about God. Right. Which is what, I'm a homeschool mom. See, this life is so short. However long it is so short. And eternity is really long. So never should we be doing something thinking about this little piece. Never. That is stupid. You need to be thinking about what I'm doing right here, right now, and the impact that has on eternity. And that's what you're doing for your children. And that's what classical education is about. That's what it's about. And that's what we should be telling people. And I think the reason that the CLT has done so well is because it is putting those ideas in front of people and they respond to it. Because that's what we all care about. Yeah. Bottom line.
I love your passion.
Sorry.
It's great. It's fantastic. I love your passion. Yeah. Jeremy earlier said that, I don't remember who you said, but somebody, DeSantis, calls us the classical learning test, but we're the classic learning test. So we're a test that is based on traditional education, a liberal arts approach, if you will, to education for the masses. That's the goal, right? And so as I hear you speak, I know of which you speak. Because I've read a lot. I love classical education. I was a professor in a liberal arts college where Dwayne Litvin was the president, all of the things. But I speak the language. So my next question is about what I opened with in terms of the language. And languages and language can unite or divide, right? So let's talk about translation. What does that mean? What vocabulary might we use to get people from where some of your parents are talking about, we don't want classical education for our kids, to where you are, that this is the most beautiful thing to speak about in the world, which I don't think any of us would disagree with. But we, again, point A to point B. How do we go from point A to point B with those who don't even know that they should be